Hey, my name is Mike Pisano. This is my 57 Chevy. I've owned for 47 years. I'm a local now, live in Myrtle Beach for the last 7 years, but I'm originally from New Jersey. This car was, when I bought it in 1978, was a junior drag race car. Guy ran it, and it used to go high 13s, low 14s, and he used it for about 5 or 6 years, and then kind of retired it in 71 or 72. I first saw this car when I was about 14 or 15 in this barn where my dad used to buy some hay and straw from the guy's father, and that's where he stored the car. And at that point, I really didn't know what a 57 Chevy was, how important they were. And so fast forward a little bit to when I was 20 years old, in February of 78, I decided I wanted to buy a 57 Chevy. Saw them in the magazines all the time. I figured I needed to get one of those. I already had a nice Chevelle in the driveway, but a 70 Chevelle. But this one here popped up, and I remembered, my brother and I remembered this guy had this car years before, and we went back, and sure enough, it was sitting there, no engine, no transmission, just like he had retired it off the drag strip. So we made a deal. I bought it. Back then I paid $1,800, I believe, which was a lot of money in 78, but it had a brand new rebuild 283 that he had raced, and I kind of detuned it and put it on the street. With my brother's help, we put the motor and a turbo 400 in it. So fast forward to 1984, I decided I went to a car show in Indianapolis. I saw the Pro Street 57, my first one I ever saw.
What year?
That was in 1980, I believe.
Okay.
But I saw the car in 80 or 81, and a couple of years later, I was talking to a friend of mine, another fellow club member had a 57 Chevy. I was talking to him just casually at a car show one day. I said, "Man, Joe, I saw this 57, and I want to do that to my car." And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that for you. Yeah, we can do that." And I had no idea that he was able to do that. He's just a guy I knew, he's a good friend. He was a carpenter, welder, he could do anything, build cars. So sure enough, we made plans. The following winter, in February of '84 it was, the car went in the body shop, or not a body shop, it went into his garage, and we proceeded to cut the back half of the car, frame off, narrowed it, custom widened the wheel wells 7 inches per side, all factory wheel tubs, used a stock gas tank. So it looks like almost like GM. It has a leaf spring suspension like GM designed, but he narrowed the springs under the frame. Gas tank is a factory 57. So it looks like that GM could have built this car right off the line, you know what I mean? So it's kind of racy looking, but it also has a stock factor to it. It's got a back seat. Back then in the 80s, nobody had back seats in these Pro Street cars. So that made it kind of unique also. So a couple years went by. I had it painted in 79. I had it painted originally when I bought it to a dark blue. The paint was starting to get old. So in 86, I took it to a body shop locally to my house, and I was going to just strip it and repaint it. And so this has got lacquer from 1986. Came actually off of a Dodge Colt. That's the color code. And so we used that. And when we were there at the body shop, I decided that I wanted to put a metal hood scoop on the car. And one thing led to another. So that hood scoop was all built by hand. It's sort of a copy of a factory, fiberglass scoop. But he built it out of all steel. And I decided I wanted the front end to tilt. And he's like, well, then we just tilt the hood. It'd be a lot easier. So he designed a hydraulic system, a convertible top cylinders, with the motor for that is mounted under the front bumper. So that was a big major.
What year did y'all do that?
We did that in '86, and the car was in the body shop for about a year. So it went in '86, came out in '87, and so it's been painted since 1987. So this is again lacquer paint, and it's held up pretty well. The motor is this originally I had a 283 in it in '85. My brother had a big block Chevy. It's a 396 poured over, sitting in the garage, all fresh. So I decided after I tubbed it in '85, actually, I said, I want to put the big block in. So I ripped the front end off, back in the same barn that I had bought the car out of. The guy was kind enough to give me a spot in the barn, and I was able to tear the front end off, and I put the big block in it in '85. So it's been in there since then, so 40 years. It features a very unique intake. It's an Edelbrock manifold.
Is that the one that's called the Tarantula?
Well, that's actually a Torker. But a tarantula is very similar.
Okay.
Tarantula is more of a race manifold.
Okay, that's the square
port, right?
This is the oval port.
That's right.
Okay.
And they did make these for square ports, but the Tarantula was a little bit of a different design. Anyway, it has the angle on the manifold for the carburetor. So I had a Holly on it for many years, and this is I'm probably going close to 20 years now. A friend of mine found these Weber carburetors out in California. I was looking to buy them. They were really expensive, and I'm like, it wasn't to me. I couldn't spend like the $1,200-$1,300 to put the carburetors on there. But he found a nice set for pretty cheap, and we bought it. I popped them on there, and I haven't touched them probably in 20 years. I mean, every once in a while I adjust an idle. But
how did you think of this?
Well, I've seen them in, back then a lot of guys were buying it. They were putting them on blower motors. Like that adapter was designed basically to go on a small blower that would maybe keep it under a hood of a tall, like something, a taller, taller engine. It might fit under the hood. That way you can put two Weber carbs on it. But that was something you could buy complete. And this one happens to be polished. The carburetors are painted black with all chrome accessories. Something like that back in 20 years ago would have been probably $1,500-$1,800, just the way it sits, which is crazy. And I was fortunate to get it for a lot less than that.
And it drives good?
Yeah, it runs great. It doesn't run any better than a Holly, but it looks cool, and it's maintenance free. Better than a Holly as far as that goes. Start it up, it runs, so I never had any issues with it. Thankfully.
That's the main thing I meant. Is it maintenance free?
Yeah, maintenance free. I mean, literally maintenance free. I changed 2 gaskets on each of them 10 years ago because it was dripping a little bit. Other than that, maintenance free. So anyway, that's a unique feature, but it does feature. It does have a set of Edelbrock aluminum oval port heads on it with a comp cam. Nothing fancy. Just a driver. Probably makes in the neighborhood of 400 horsepower. But it's just a driver. It's got 12 bolt that we narrowed way back in '85, and that's got 355 gears in it. So with the Turbo 400, it makes for a decent cruising car, But that's about it. She's a driver, and but like I said, it's been around the block. The interior that was done in actually 1979 when I bought the car. I had the interior done
in '79.
Yeah, the seats and the door panels were done in '79. I recently put a new rug in it. I had the headliner redone back in '87 when I had the car painted because the headliner was kind of bad. But yeah, the seats have been done since 1979.
Wow.
And old Sun tack on the dashboard. That's the original Sun from back in the day. I had that on my '69 Camaro in 1975. So that thing's, God knows how old that thing is.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
stuff you can't find now.
No, well, you can buy reproductions of those. They sort of look original, but that's an original one.
Right.
And somehow it still works.
Okay.
So other than that, you want to look at the trunk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like you said, the trunk features those 7-inch wide wheel wells that kind of look like a factory wheel well, only they're 7 inches wide.
How did y'all do that?
Well, we just cut them. I did. My buddy, I helped him, but he cut them off the car, off the side panel there, and we cut it and widened it 7 inches and put a piece of metal down in the middle of it.
And so it'll look like factory wheel well.
It looks like the inside part is all factory because of the curve and all that, so it looks like factory. And we were able to do that, and like I said, by narrowing the frame just the right amount, we were able to get the stock gas tank moved over into in the center of the car versus on the 55s and 7s. They're offset a little bit because the spare tire used to be right here, up and down.
Okay.
So we moved the gas tank in the center, and we're able to use that, which again, that gives it a whole factory type deal, and I don't have to worry about a fuel cell in the trunk or anything like that. In fact, the trunk, as you can see, has got a lot of stuff. There's a picture of it when I bought it. We towed it home actually with my brother's Chevy, which is right there.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. The day we brought it home. This is a shot of it after it was tubbed. That was dark blue paint I had on it, but I had my buddy put some stripes on it in a weekend for me to kind of hide the paint was getting kind of old on it, even though it was just a cheap lacquer job I had done. And this is actually prior. This is back in 1980, I believe, before it was tough. That's Miss Hurst. Linda
Oh
Vaughn.
yeah, I knew who that was.
That was pretty cool. That was at the Englishtown at the Summer Nationals, and she had a '57 Chevy, was her favorite car. She had her first car was a '57, so she was kind enough to take a picture with me with the car. And the stuff you see here is some pinstriping stuff that I do as a hobby, part-time stuff. I've been doing that for 35, 40 years, but I sort of just display it here. Not much else to it. The gas tank is, like I said, it's painted the same color as the car, so it kind of looks kind of nice. Yeah, gas tank's in the factory spot right here. That's just like GM designed it. Yeah, that's what's really nice. Like I said, it's got these springs, so it drives. It rides pretty
And
much
what size tires you have on the back?
I have a 31 by 18.5 Mickey Thompson street radial on the back.
Okay.
With 15 by 14s, and I got a set of 15 by 6 up front. Billet specialty street height wheels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you
Now
this.
it's that thing to make it look good. So he says, I can make you one out of steel. And that's how that happens. So that's basically a copy of the one from Harwood, only a little different design. But the top, it's all handmade metal. And you could look at you get a close up of that where it's molded into the hood. It looks like it was just done last week. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this thing's got a lot of miles, a lot of years. So he did a great job. And again, the paint job is getting close to 40 years old in a couple more years. Yeah, it's on their windshield, so that'd be cool.